Hello guys, Lit here. So I'm just finishing my Act 3. So I'm starting with infernalist summoner. I've been trying a bunch of stuff with this archetype. And today I want to went over all my changes from Act 1 to Act 3. So first thing first, let's talk about SRS. SRS is easily the best minion skill so far. And this is because it's only reserved 30 spirits, it can spawn 10 minions and they hit pretty hard. And when later on you have the infernal legions and minion stability, the SRS is really strong. So let's first talk about how you can get the SRS. So you can get the SRS pretty early, and you can get them by defeating King of Mist. And after you defeat the King of Mist, you will get this quest item over here, and you can click the quest items. It will give you 30 spirits, and it is also going to give you uncut spirit gems. Now when you have your uncut spirit gems, when you click it, the first thing you need to do is to click the tab of the sorcerer, because for whatever reasons the raging spirit is on the sorcerer's tab. So that's how you get your raging spirit. And if you already pick something else, I do drop like 2 of them and on Act 2, but they seems to be pretty rare drop. So that's about the SRS. And the next one I want to talk about is about spirit. There's a various way you can get spirits. Number one is through the scepter. I think this is already preview on the reveal before. And the next one is on chest. Chest also have spirit. And then another item that's going to have spirit is amulet. I think it's around 12 to 15. I don't know how high it can go, but it's an extra spirit. So that's all I know about spirit. I don't find any other items that can give spirits. So let's go into the gems. So early on, I'm basically using contagions and unearth, linked with minion instability and persistent. The persistent doesn't really matter. The most important part is the minion stability, and that's because unearth is very good at converting a lot of corpse. So because it's a cone, when you target a lot of corpse, and all of them will explode when the life go into low life. And that's why I like to use unearth early on. And contagions early on is really nice. You can use this with the unearth, and your contagion is just going to spread everywhere, and this will help your damage early on. I'm using skeleton sniper, and I combine that with the corrosions and also envenoms. Envenom I added later on, and that's just because if I can make the hit also poisons, it can contribute to the corrosion support. And what corrosion support did is make your poisons also apply to breaking armor. And skeleton sniper have a skill that can shoot poison into the AoE. And when the enemy in the AoE, it get poisons, and they also going to get break armor. And breaks armor is pretty good in terms of DPS, so this is what I do early on. But later on I decided to drop the sniper because I just find it inconsistent. It die very easily, and sometimes it just didn't hit right. So I just decided to move the skeleton sniper, and I basically just use the skeleton warrior from the scepter, and I equip these 2 items here just to apply some sort of breaking armor. And later on, when I have the access to skeleton reaver, this envenoms and corrosion is really strong because skeleton reaver have pretty good attack speed. But I don't know if this is the best combinations. I think there is a support gem that can break armor using physical damage. So if I remember correctly, we can use that one, and we can use something like martial tempo over here instead of using these 2 support, which going to result into better DPS. And later on, after I get the skeleton arsonist, I try this one a little bit. It's pretty good, but since I already have minion instability on the unearth, so I end up not using the explosion too much, so I decided to drop it too. And then I get Raging Spirit. So the first time I get Raging Spirit, I pair it with Fire Infusions and also Martial Tempo. And this worked really well early on until I think it's late Act 2. Basically, you're waiting for this gem over here, Infernal Legions. And for this skill, you will need uncut support gems level 2, which is pretty hard to get. But later on, the Raging Spirit will pair with the Infernal Legions and Minion Stability. And for the extra slot will be Feeding Frenzy. The Feeding Frenzy not really necessary. The major component is Infernal Legions and Minion Stability. And one thing that I also try is also Raise Zombie. I try to pair with Minion Stability too. Because it's also taking corpse, and zombie have bigger HP. But the problem with zombie is you have to spawn it one by one. So at some point it does become tedious, and I think unearth is a better choice, so I just decided to drop a race zombie. And another one is the curses. I'm using flammability because SRS is the main DPS, and pair with inspirations just to save some mana cost. You also can put something like persistence to get more skill effectuations, something like that just also work. But in the future, something like flammability can be an option. And this is because Skeletal Reaver hit pretty hard. Even if we compare it to SRS, Reaver still hit pretty hard. The thing about Reaver is I still don't know how sustainable it is because I don't have access to Skeleton Cleric. But later on, when I have Skeleton Cleric, I will try this combination and we'll see how good the combination can do. Because the Skeleton Reaver, I really like it. It moves fast, it hit fast, and it does did a lot of DPS. And for offering, I'm using Pain Offering. This takes times to get used to. Early on, I'm most of the time do not press this. This is a really huge DPS increase. So if you decide to use Pain Offering, make sure don't forget to use this skill. And the next one is Flamewall, and Flamewall is the skill that I'm using to spawn the Raging Spirit. And this is because when you pair Flamewall with Fortress, every time you Flamewall, you will at least get 5 SRS. Basically, keep the SRS rolling pretty fast, and this is the skill that I decided to use to spawn to trigger the Raging Spirit, because Raging Spirit in poe2, this is above resistance. So when you equip it into the gems, you can see over here, you have to right click this one, so don't forget to right click it. And the next one is probably the Mage, the Skeleton Mage, Arsonist, Frostmage. Frostmage is not that bad. I pair it with Encumbrance. This is just to more slow and Control Destruction, a little bit more DPS. There's also, I think, like something with the multiple projectiles. This also probably also works. I also try put it in with Arcane Tempo, so it casts a little bit faster. But in the end of the day, I just do not think that this is good enough, especially with the reservation that high. I'd rather have more Skeletal Reaver and just keep stacking a lot of this. I think Skeletal Reaver is just perform a lot better. But Frostmates and Stormmates, as far as I know, they still work just fine. So if you want a range minion, both of them is a pretty good minions. Like the Frostmate, the freeze does help, the chill does help. So the Frostmate is also not that bad. And I think that's all about the gem that I use. And for the passive tree, early on, I'm just going straight into this one. This is all minion node. And I do try to go this route first early on. So I'm taking the Relentless Fallen and also the Fear of Death. And after trying a little bit, I just don't think these two nodes do that much. And it costs like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 to 7 points. So I don't think it's worth it. So I decided to drop it, and I decided to put it on something else's. So I basically respect this one, and I going up, try to get Lord of Horror, and thinking that this will give me at least one more minion, which is completely not. Early on, I just get like 10 to 15 spirit. It's not that great. So I don't think you need to rush. The note down here is pretty good. Restless Dead monster, your minion revive 25% faster. This is really important because the revive timer, I think, is 8 seconds. It's pretty long. So having this node, I think, is pretty mandatory. There's also another node over here that I probably should take. And over here, I do take all the minion node. And of course, if you have the point, take the Lord of Horrors. Sometimes having 10 or 15 more spirit, it can mean that you can spawn one more minions. And I'm also taking this whole minion life. It still contribute in terms of damage because of the SRS, and this also gives them fist damage reductions and also gives resistance, which is pretty nice for the defensive player. And I just path through here to get all this node. This give damage, this give life. And the reason why I'm going here is not particularly specific. It's just because I need this for intelligence. So I just decided to just go this way because I already need this intelligence anyway, so might as well just take all this node. And for the node itself, because now in poe2 you can choose what node you want, I'm basically choose mostly intelligence, and I will pick another node if I need them. If I need strength, like this one, I do take strength, this and this, and I also take one dexterity. But if I do not need any of them, I generally will go for intelligence, because you do need quite high intelligence requirement for the minion gems. And I think that's about the passive tree. The passive tree is pretty standard, and one thing is, if you want to play with SRS, with Infernal Legion and Minion instability, try to not take this node, because the +5 to all maximum elemental resistance, it can make the Summon Raging Spirit survive a little bit too long, so it doesn't pop as fast. And with Infernal Legion and Minion Spirit, you want their HP to go down fast. So it come out, it did AoE damage with Infernal Legion, and it die, it pop with Minion stability. And other than that, I think that's all about it. There's a few minion nodes that I want to try, like this one, Necrotic Touch, 40% critical 40% critical strike chance. And there's a bunch of crit damage bonus over here. There's also the critical damage bonus over here and bunch of critical strike chance. I personally just don't know how good the node is or how impactful that is. So next day I probably want to try this one. I already saved bunch of gold. I probably going to save more just in case if the node is actually not that good, and I really respect all of them because I do spend quite a lot of gold in day one just to respect here and there. I will continue the journey tomorrow. I will try a bunch of things, and if I find something interesting I will let you guys know. So I think that's all from me today, and thank you everyone for watching. And if you have any questions, as usual, leave it in the comment below. I will try my best to answer it. And if you like the video, consider like and subscribe. That will help the channel a lot. So thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next one.